Hi there, I'm David Haydn-Jones and I'm on FrConvention. Oh, I remember my first audition very well. The first two auditions were big. The first audition is what we call a self-tape, where we actually had to go in and audition by ourselves. And the first time I was doing Catch, he was actually seen as sort of a East Ender Cockney kind of leather jacket, so I have the scruff and the beard and the hair, kind of like Butcher from The Boys actually, and put myself on tape. And I hadn't heard anything for something like 4 weeks, and then I found out I got a call back, and I was shooting nights on a movie in Vancouver, and I had to be at the audition at 10 a.m. dressed in a suit. In fact, I think this is the same tux I wore to the final audition. And they said they don't want the biker version anymore. They want the posh English gentleman spy. And so I wrapped the movie at, I think it was 8:45 a.m. Had a quick nap, showered, put on my suit, and went into the audition. And I remember right before I went in for Catch, I just said quietly under my breath, Bond, James, Bond. And then I went in and I did the audition and it felt really good. And I didn't hear anything for 5 weeks. And then one day in August, I got the call and it was for 3 episodes. And then it turned into 4 seasons. And then every day on set was just pretty amazing. So the atmosphere on the set really comes down from Jared and Jensen with just the kindness, camaraderie, the inclusion on day one, and bringing people into this extended family of the crew, the creators, all the artists, in all the departments that make the show work, from transport to props and sets. And every day just felt like a collaborative, fun, inclusive, playful, take the work seriously but not yourself seriously day of work. So it was a pleasure every day I got to work on that show. Well, Adam Ferguson and I became literally as fast friends as friends could be. He's such a gregarious, fun guy, and I'm just sort of a small town Canadian boy at heart too. And so we got really just playful and fun, and we had to establish what our relationship was very early. But he's just such a fun-loving guy, and I try to think of myself as fun and easygoing. So we found out very early on we have the same birthday, which was pretty fun. So I think there was just this sense of fun and play with him. And then we just have our humor together, just sort of, we just bounce off each other so well. We had this natural comedic chemistry. We love to make each other laugh and we have a good time together. So yeah, it just became this, I think the word is bromance. We had a bromance. It was good, really, really fun. We like to laugh a lot. It's been great. So, well, I think the fun thing is that we did know that the 2 men and letters, that Mick Davies and Catch, were both in Dean's Heaven in the original draft. Before COVID shut the borders down, we could go up. But I've said this in panels before. I love the idea that Catch went to hell, got tortured by Rowena for a long, delicious time in her dungeon, and then became her leather-clad manservant. So that's where I love to think that Catch actually is, but maybe that's heaven to him as well. So maybe he gets to do both. Maybe he gets to be a demon that gets to live in all the places, thanks to the queen of hell, Rowena herself. I watched it all to the end, absolutely. Once I was in the show, I watched it all to the end. So I'm still trying to go back and start working through all the episodes until season 12, gosh. I've gone around and watched individual episodes, probably about 40 at this point, but I really feel like there's just so little time, but I really need to just start at the beginning and go right through to 12 at this point. I just want to see the whole world, because I really, now that I'm doing so many conventions, I really want to have that shorthand with the fans, if that makes sense, because they know it so well. I almost want to be able to converse in their language. It's like learning a language at this point. So I love learning language and I love culture, so I really do want to kind of be able to speak the whole language, if that makes sense. Well, I don't think, I don't know how big of the adjustments there was with Misha and Castiel, and I know that the fans, you know, I mean, I don't think you're going to make everyone happy anyways, even if there was no COVID, but I personally liked the whole idea of they fought God, they fought Lucifer, they've fought every imaginable entity in the universe, and then it was a nail, sort of almost biblical, a silly like Achilles heel thing for Dean in that massive fight in that barn at the end. I thought it was poetic. Again, it's the Achilles heel. It's David and Goliath. It's the small nuanced stuff that takes giants down, and I thought it was rather poetic and sad. But of course, I'm biased, so you know the thing when you're working the art, the audience will always decide, and that's the other thing. The show's never dead, and the multiverse is alive. So who knows? Who knows what kind of versions we'll get. I mean, we talk about this in the green room a lot. The fact that we get to do these conventions and sort of have two kinds of family reunions within a circus environment. We said it earlier in the panel day, and we say that in the most loving way. These conventions have become, in a way, their own thing outside the show, spawned by the show, obviously. But there's just this sense of kinship and communion and camaraderie that's really special, unique thing. It's almost like a touring theater group meets improv, meets, again, just like family. I say this in America all the time. I call them the cousins. It's like, hey, third cousin you. It's like really the extended family, and you get to start regulars. And I think I know like over 250 names of people who come to these things now, and I really try to work hard to learn people's stories and reconnect. So no one could ever imagine that when you get a little role at first on a TV show, that it would also expand to the conventions. And the nice thing about the conventions too is you feel like you're working in between your other work. So for an actor, insecurity is always in the system until you're really, really famous. So it's just a win-win-win all the way around. If you like human stories and connections, the conventions are amazing. Well, the PeopleCon event is very special because it's well run, and it's in Paris. I mean, come on, it's in Paris. Paris is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It feels good, it's safe, the metro's incredible, but come on. French want to brag, one of the most beautiful languages, but the best food and wine in the world, period, full stop. I had a 7-course prefix 2 nights ago, wine pairings, 4-hour journey. I mean, and they say 7, but they really mean 3 desserts and 3 amuse-bouche, and then the thing, you know, like the chef's like, oh, this is the thing I'm doing tonight, and then there's the amuse-bouche, and then there's 7, and then it's get paired with everything. I was like, oh, it's delicious. And then the architecture. I'm an architect by trade, so I just love the history here in the streets. It's amazing. And then the people are so wonderful too. And for a small, like what would you consider a small crowd? The French audience, 250, 300 people that were out there, are louder than like 800 people in America. I just want the French to know that when they fill a room with cheers, we feel it right here, very loud, very cool.